Well, hey everyone, it's Roger Haskett here, Daily Diary. It is March 11th, 2020. It's my brother's birthday celebration, yay! And not so celebratory, because today is the day that the WHO, World Health Organization, declared a pandemic. So COVID-19 is now officially moved into pandemic land, which is disturbing, upsetting that we are here. In some ways, we're here, so that means that now that it's been announced, things can happen. We've been talking about resilience, and one of the things that builds up resilience is being able to take action. I believe that one of the things that helps me the most when I wake up at 4 a.m. and I have these things that keep me awake, like all these things that weigh me down, that are, what's going to happen with my family, what's going to happen with my mother and father, like they're older, they're in the demographic that's the most dangerous. What's going to happen with business and finances and living, like what's going to happen there? Well, it turns out now that I feel that we've identified that it's a pandemic, all sorts of actions can now be taken. So even though this is at the moment, in a way, the low point, here we are at pandemic, March 11th, we're declaring a world pandemic. In another way, just by recognizing the reality of what we're living through, this is one of the things I talk about all the time. I go deal with organizations all the time, and I just go, let's deal with what's actually happening. What about that as an idea? And people are like, wow, you're blowing our mind. And I'm like, really? It's just dealing with what's actually happening. But it turns out that dealing with what's actually happening is not necessarily what humans are good at. Humans are really good at imagining things and pretending things. We're really good at ignoring things. We're really good at running away from things. But confronting the problem as it is not really something that we excel at. We have to work towards that. As a matter of fact, this is part of resilience. Facing the issue that is actually in front of you is a far better way of dealing with the issue than facing the issue that isn't in front of you. I was just talking with a buddy of mine who's a consultant, and he was like, I come in and I work with clients, and almost always the issue that they ask me, and this is exactly what happens to me too, almost always the issue they ask you to solve is an issue that was 2 years old or 5 years old or 6 months old. And the real issue is something else. It might have grown out of that issue, but what is really happening is different and needs to be confronted. Not necessarily in a hostile way, actually not in a hostile way, but in a confronting, in a disruptive, in a let's actually talk about what's going on. I want to rub my mouth, but I'm not, we're all supposed to learn how not to touch our mouth. I don't know if this counts. Man, someone write in. Oh, by the way, that reminds me. I am so looking forward to the time where we start to engage. So already we're getting close to the end of this, but we started with pandemic. We're now talking about engagement. We've been talking about resilience. I can't wait until people start writing in and going, hey, what about this, Roger? Will you talk? Here's a question for you. What do you think about X? How do you think we should deal with remote work? How should I deal with, a partner who doesn't believe in building up resilience? There's all sorts of questions that we could be talking about that relate to you. I can't wait for that, because holy cow, questions are amazing, because it allows us to move from a generalized discussion to a very specific discussion. And almost always the move from general to specific is valuable. Not always, sometimes the other way is valuable. But this is almost always valuable when you're in an organization, in a team, in a family, dealing with these type of issues. All right, so Daily Diary, March 11th, 2020. Happy birthday, Michael. Not happy birthday, world. Welcome to the pandemic. But now it's here. Now we've announced it, which means we should be able to start taking action, which increased action, which should lead to us having more reserves to deal with what's coming our way. Because we don't know, right? We don't know how serious. What we know from Italy is that it's pretty serious. What we know from China is that it's pretty serious. What we know from Korea is that it's pretty serious. We're waiting to see what happens here, right? All right, everyone, Roger Haskett here, Daily Diary. Let's build up some resilience, and let's build it up now for our troubled times, because we need resilient strategies for our troubled times.